Adam, you were checking out the Stephanie Miller program. She had some big gets on there, and John is the one who's booked these gets. So he's got Marc Maron. That was one of the later episodes. And one of the early ones was Billy West, formerly of the Howard Stern Show. But of course, we all know Billy West as a voice actor who played a lot of the characters, including Fry on Futurama, and of course, Stimpy, and eventually Ren on Ren and Stimpy, and the bee from that cereal box, and a whole bunch of things. A yellow M&M. He's all sorts of things. So very famous guy, Billy West. Where do you want to start? Which guest do you want to start with?
Let's start with Maron.
Okay.
Because what I like about these two paired together is that they both deal with John in similar ways. They're both in recovery. Maron for like 16 years, Billy for 30 years, sober people. And they seem to have experience dealing with drunks like John. And they both just bulldoze right through him. They either give him a taste of his own medicine or they just completely ignore him. And it's masterful to watch. Both of them handling him the same way. And it works. It works. You'll see it in this first one. Watch Maron's body language and what he does to John here.
I said this to you in the driveway. I think you're the best interviewer out. I think better than Stern.
Oh, thank you. What do you have to say about that?
I say no comment on that.
No, I appreciate that.
Have we ever seen somebody intentionally touch John?
No. John's always touching everyone else. Mm-hmm. And Marc Maron very quickly put John in his place and went, hey, the host is complimenting me and saying that I'm better than your old boss there. We good? Mm-hmm. we cool with this? Is this going to be all right?
And if you notice, he handles John the same way he handles the dog that comes up. He puts them both in their place. You're going to be there. You're going to be there. Stay.
Smart.
Stay. And the same thing happens in this next clip.
So once it got down to me and Mark, I was just supposed to be the John of that show.
Right.
And I was just supposed to be the laughing guy that would interject occasionally. And so eventually, I somehow or another, I became the lead.
That's weird. So John's like, oh, we're touching each other?
Yeah.
So John starts getting into this like, hey, we're hugging over here. It's like, we're not.
Yeah, that's when Mark shoves him away.
Yeah, he kind of shoved it away, but he also made it clear that like, no. I am the one controlling. I'm the one showing my dominance here, not you.
It's exactly right. And he does it the exact same way. Well, he does it differently in this next clip with the opposite move. Same effect.
And I've never even had the president on the show. I wasn't even jealous. I was like, that is the best fucking interview I've ever heard. He got shit from the president I've never heard.
The president's been in his
anywhere.
fucking garage.
Yeah. Yeah.
But isn't that weird how like you go through stuff with people?
He just won't even look at him. He just looks straight. I'm going to pretend you didn't say that and that you're not even there.
Smart.
Yeah, so Adam's always looking at eye lines because he's an actor. And you can see right there that John's sitting right next to Marc Maron. And John's trying to be like, yeah, man, you had Obama on the show. I want to be a part of this conversation. And Mark's just like, you're not part of this conversation. He's just staring directly at Stephanie like, we're equals. We're the ones who are equals on this. You're the Stephanie Miller show. I'm WTF, Marc Maron. And so we're the ones talking. And John's like, I'm one of the guys, right?
We just pointed out that you're the laughing guy who interjects just a little bit.
Right. But John wants to be part of the conversation. And so, of course, Marc Maron went through a pretty messy divorce. And John wants to be able to relate to that and be like, yeah, I'm just like you. Except for there's a pretty big difference.
It's weird because I don't even think that badly ever, but there's a couple of elements of that period of time that I have a hard time getting closure with. But I know why she left me. I know what I did. I know why, it all happened. But the money shit was a little out of line.
Same with me.
Right.
Every time I drop up that CS check, the child support check, I just get
I don't have no kids, but just the way she went, she tried to crush me.
Yep.
And I'm like, why are you doing this? Just take your half and go.
Yeah.
All right. Can I just give some advice to Stuttering John from 10 years ago? When you're complaining about divorce, don't complain about child support. That's the one thing where no one's going to have your back. I get so pissed when I have to pay for my kids to have a life and be brought up.
Or pay for anything, really.
That's crazy. He was upset about child support. And famously, we know that John didn't pay child support for 7 or 8 months straight. What an asshole.
Mark
Should
has
not
to
have brought that up.
Differentiation. This is, we're not the same here. This is not the same. Maron has to let him know, which is great.
Yeah, no. My wife actually took me for everything I got because I'm famous and have stuff to get. Your wife just wanted fair child support.
Yeah, she didn't want your Marshall cabinet.
No one does.
And now, I mean, John feels like he's being shut out, so he keeps trying to interject and bring the conversation back to himself in awful ways.
This one's an asshole, but, they're cats.
Yeah, my cats can't stand me,
No, mine can't. I don't know that they can stand any of us.
In fact, they actually tried to break back into the rescue I got them from.
Are you serious?
Please rescue us from him.
Because you hear about those cats that run away, or they move, like families move, and then they go back across country to the old house. Yours went to the rescue. Just give me my cage.
Yeah, give me my little tiny cage. I can't take this guy and his smell.
So,
Do you smell?
Oh, my feet do.
Oh, really? You're that guy?
Yeah.
Let's
Smelly
talk about
feet guy?
Holy shit. The cat's like, I can't think of this guy to smell it. And Mark just gets real serious. He goes, you smell? Yeah, my feet do. He's like, oh, you're that guy. You're smelly feet guy.
Cool.
John, bathe. Fuck. There's got to be a solution to this. The smelly feet.
I don't bathe or fuck.
Unrelated.
The smelly feet thing is not great. I don't know why because he brings it up all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just a Puerto Rican with smelly feet.
He's so okay with it.
He thinks it's like a personality trait.
Yeah. Or he thinks we'd be surprised, not like he looks exactly like that would be true.
Yeah.
Or he really does smell right there, because look at him. He's glistening. He's so wet and like dripping. Maybe Mark be like, oh, yeah, you smell?
he's so
He might be
gross.
fully aware. They used to hang like air fresheners in that studio
Over him,
around
yes.
him.
Yes.
So I'm guessing he reeks.
Well, since we're talking about that, let's just go to this is a quick visual that just
Yes.
shows how disgusting John is.
After we start, I was on the air live 3. I would go out of my way to end the show saying shitty things about Stephanie.
He's dripping out of his nose. So he goes for one wipe and then a second with the other arm and then a third with the first arm again and then back with the first arm for a fourth time. He's just wiping snot with snot at this
Well,
point.
this arm isn't totally soaked yet.
It is, John. It is.
But don't worry, he never breaks eye contact with Mark the whole time.
Yeah, right. I know. Like, excuse yourself or something. Turn away as you're dealing with your nose thing. So gross.
You can go to number 10 right here, where John just again makes it about himself and Mark deals with it brilliantly.
we're friends with Sam Kinison.
Yeah, so.
Who
Yeah, I was too.
I know.
Yeah.
But
Is it really
I
friends?
loved him.
Is that what we're going to call it?
No, I slept at his house and crap. I mean, he
Yeah.
was like totally. I mean, I used to freaking hang out with him
Later.
What?
Like when he was doing Stern, like later when he was after.
Yeah, as soon as he started doing Stern, he kind of fell in love with me because he loved the interviews. And,
Yeah.
and he would take me to the China Club out here in LA
Yeah.
and introduce me to all his,
The
celebrity
freaks.
friends and tell him how I'm the biggest, I'm
Yeah.
the funniest guy in the world.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Marc Maron fan in the world, but I think what Mark is saying is like, I came up with Sam Kinison. We worked at the Comedy Store together. You know, they probably both got passed, and so they were working there regularly. And so it's before Sam Kinison is famous and has all this other stuff going on. And John's like, I'm really good friends with this guy. And Mark's like, no, you don't understand. Like, we were peers before either of us were famous. It's a very different thing than now you have a connection to the Howard Stern show and he's on the Howard Stern show. And
Also, I'm being interviewed here.
well, there's that too. I do forget that John's not the star of the show because he's the star of this show.
And there's a third element where Maron's like, I was his actual friend. You all just have some stories. So I'm going to
That's
let
what I
you
mean.
talk. And he was a junkie, John. What you're describing is how you enabled his addiction, that Mark had to do this fine line and leave and abandon. And he's looking at you like, yeah, you were one of those guys who kept him up at night, doing blow, killing him.
Yep, and he's going to describe that.
And introduce me to all his,
The
celebrity
freaks.
friends and tell him how I'm the biggest, I'm
Yeah.
the funniest guy in the world.
Yeah.
I would do coke with him in the bathroom, and then he would reach in his pocket and pull out a pill and go, now, if you start getting a little,
Yeah.
like this,
Yeah.
take this. It'll bring you right back down.
Yeah, he had a system.
That's a loving story.
No, I told a
but
big
you know-
story about him last night, actually,
no,
at the
please tell.
Comedy Store.
Yeah.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was going to say no, but I didn't know him as well as you guys did. But that was what his nature was like. He used to come do. I was Sister Sleaze
Yeah.
on the Brother Wee's Morning Circus, and he used to come on the show. But
Fuck, Stephanie, really? You're doing this now too?
Exact same thing.
Stephanie sucks. Mark's just like, Sam and I were friends like early on before either of us broke.
Oh, no, I met him once. Let me interrupt you. I met him once. So let me tell you.
He was on the radio show that I was co-hosting in some podunk town in New York State somewhere. By the way, someone said this to me. It might have been E-Rock. Sent me the video of when Sam Kinison came on Brother Weeze's show, and they called into the Howard Stern show and talked to Stuttering John, and then eventually Gary Del Botte. Did I do this on the show? Did we talk about this?
I don't think so.
All right. Anyway, it was interesting.
Brother Weeze?
Yeah.
Up in Philly?
Rochester.
Rochester.
Yeah.
I know Weeze.
Yeah. Weeze is the greatest. I was his co-host. That's where I started.
I went in. I was there not too long ago for a comedy show at the Comedy Club.
Yeah.
That's called. It's called the Comedy Club in Rochester.
Right.
And I met Weeze. Yeah. He's still at it.
He's fantastic. But
Yeah,
anyway,
good guy.
he was friends with Kinison as well. But he just was so generous when he
Yes.
would come on the show. I was just a little nobody. I was a kid in radio, but he just was so like that. Whatever he did, he was just great at.
He was a preacher. He had a preacher's charisma.
Yeah.
But
Believe me, that generosity was loaded.
I remember in his show, he did like 20 minutes on me. He's like, I was talking to Sister Sleeves right after I finished fucking her. I was fucking her. I'm like, but he did this hilarious 20 minutes. But it also was like he knew it would be huge for me because
Yeah.
I was like a little.
Yeah.
Stephanie, it wasn't 20 minutes. And he didn't do it because he thought it would be huge for you. You were the local celebrity. So he incorporated you into his act to be endearing to the Rochester audience.
And I was like, oh my God, Sam Kinison talked about me for.
Yeah, he was very helpful and he helped a lot of people. But the thing you had to be careful of was like he could turn on you.
Yeah.
I mean, fairly easily.
Hey, never did to me.
Yeah, I know. Well, you were no threat.
What?
Man, I must be like flypaper to insults.
Am I going too far?
No.
Hero of the Stupid is talked about a lot, but flypaper to insults is actually not bad. Chris is writing that one down. Stuttering John, flypaper to insults.
It's true.
It's not bad. Not a bad description, honestly.
He gets some really good advice here that he completely ignores, but you just pointed out, which is funny, that John, the thing he learns from this interview is to call out the local host when he does local TV in Coral. That's what he steals. Not this good advice he gets in this next clip.
I feel like I'm lisping. Do you ever hear that in your earphones sometimes? Like my ears are okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about speech impediments.
No, I know. It's not like you built a career on it. Good hook. Real gift. It seems better though.
Yeah, it's gotten better.
God damn. What are you gonna do?
Don't get him flustered.
Yeah.
Don't get him flustered. He'll come back.
If I do coke, it gets worse. So.
Well, I imagine most things do.
Go ahead.
He ignored that advice.
Oh yeah, of course.
He completely missed that.
No, Mark. Coke's a lot of fun, actually. I don't think you understand what that's all about.
He's talking to a guy 16 years in recovery, and that's what he's going to tell him. Mm-hmm. He goes on to explain to him how he had to end his friendship with Kinison over this stuff and over abuse, and he just plows right through it.
Well, my favorite story was when I was on Stern. Joan Rivers, Sam was booked to do Joan Rivers' show, and he never showed up. And his official, the press release was he couldn't make it because of bad Chinese food.
Yeah, right.
I was going to call my band that, bad Chinese food.
Was that the time when he was locked in the hotel room?
Yeah, and then she came to the hotel and banged on his door. And crap.
That would have been a really great name. Bad Chinese food. Like everyone would have gotten that reference, I'm sure.
It's no Stiff Minister, but
no, Stiff Minister is obviously the better one. Of those
you can't stop downplaying this drug talk. Like if you could read the room at all, John, you'd realize he's done talking about this and would like to move on.
Yep. And John also, he cannot hold a regular conversation with people. He's one of these idiots, like I talk about it all the time, like a Ray DeVito, who just has to start singing for some reason.
Both my parents are from Jersey. I grew up in New Mexico, though, yeah.
And your dad was an orthopedic surgeon.
Yeah, it's unclear what he does now, but it's not happy.
So you grew up in New Mexico? Is that close to Santa Fe?
Albuquerque, yeah, it's about an hour.
Yeah.
Going to a restaurant in Santa Fe.
Please, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. My dad's still there in Albuquerque.
So Mark's like having a real conversation about what his parents did growing up and what they do for a living and then where he grew up to. And Jenna's like, I know a thing about what you said. I know a song I can sing. And Mark's like, yeah, okay. Cool.
It's a song from Rent.
I didn't even know
Why
what
the
it was.
fuck is he singing a song from Rent?
That's a good
Like,
question.
his eyes went wide, like, oh, they're gonna love this. Like, it has nothing to do with anything they're talking about.
It sounds like a little of a just do it moment if you ask me if you're singing songs from Rent, but what do I know? So Mark starts talking about, he's got a TV show at this time on IFC, and he's got the podcast is wildly popular. He's doing very well. He's got a lot going on. And John is so desperate to get back into show business. This is just a sad moment for John.
When you're shooting a show that is operating at the budget we were operating at, it comes down to, like, do they have a 2-day window to do the thing I want them to do?
I am always free.
Oh, good.
I would love to do it.
Trust me.
Thank you.
Like I did Louis' show, a couple
Louis
episodes,
CK.
of CK's show, and I wanted him to do the opening thing.
I love it.
John, we know. Like this, he does the same thing with girls where he's just like, I'll go out with you. If you ever want your box licked, I have a tongue. You're like, yeah, John, we know you're a desperate loser. This has been established.
It goes without saying.
You have to keep reminding us that you're always available to do show business stuff if you're asked to.
And I am also not a big Marc Maron fan, but I love how dismissive he was right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just like, all right, this is not the place.
Good technique.
Time nor the place for that. But don't worry, all of this ends on a high note.
And you're annoying, but I like you a lot.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? Isn't that a weird dichotomy?
It's charm.
Just, I don't know what
That's
it is.
what my mom says.
I've heard that a lot.
It's like something you step in. You're like, no, not so bad. All right, I can't really get rid of it.
Can't get him off your shoe. Yeah. Good.
Yep.
Anthony goes, how fast did Marc Maron throw in that shirt? There was a lot of touching after all this nose wiping.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And it's like, hey,
Mark's like, how did I get Coke boogers on my shirt?
takes me back. Like old times. All right, so that's Marc Maron dealing with John. And there was another thing that happened during the show where Mark was talking about, like, John had been pestering him and badgering him to be a guest on Stephanie's show. At this time, John's still trying to add value to Stephanie's show. So he's trying to bring in big guests, and Mark was a big guest. So John would see him at the Comedy Store and just, hey, you got to do Stephanie Miller. And Mark even says, like, if you bug me enough, I'll eventually say yes, and I'll do things one time. And John's like, he's laughing about it. It's like, no. You really are just fucking annoying. And it can't look good for Stephanie that the person who comes out is just like, yeah, your booker's just annoying the crap out of me. So I finally said yes. If I was Stephanie, I'd be like, I thought maybe you wanted to, okay, whatever.
Mark shows up. He's like, oh, you have to be here too? I thought you just booked.
Yeah, right. What the fuck? I gotta sit next to you now? Fuck. You didn't tell me that part. No, I never tell anyone that part.
No, I wouldn't either.
I'm glad you pointed that out, Chris, because it's interesting that for some of them, he sits next to the guest, and then for others, they put him to the side, like the next one with Billy West. They don't let him near Billy. They put him as far away as possible, which is interesting.
That is true. Where do you want to start with the Billy West interview?
Yeah, right at the top with John casually entering the conversation like a master.
God, look at me. I'm just as big a starfucker as everyone else.
Stop fucking. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, Steph, even Aaron, our what is he? Our camera
Videographer.
He's like I don't know, fetal stem cell videographer.
Because he was helping me pack
You
today.
just
General
settle
pain in
over
the
there.
ass.
Settle.
Because he was helping me pack today, and I said, Aaron, are you coming today? He goes, are you fucking kidding me? Of course I'm coming. I go, why? He goes, what do you think, I'm going to miss meeting Billy West?
I thought you told me you don't swear.
Well, yeah, I normally
We're
don't.
bonding
Oh
over
no,
the
this
fact
is
that we
this
don't
is
swear.
non fucking FCC.
Yes, which ironically spells fuck.
Right.
God.
Yeah.
That
That's
other
a lot of
voice
him.
actor is on this episode, and he's really excited. He's sitting next to Billy West because he thinks that they're equals and peers and stuff. He's like, oh, you do voiceover work? Me too. Oh, great.
Well, they
It's a lot of
did it,
impressions. A lot of impressions on this episode. It's bad.
which is fine when it's just Billy doing them, but when others, they apparently did a show together, these two. Some cartoon where they both played dogs or something, and I guess they have a history off the air. They were doing dueling Jay Lenos. So Stephanie in this clip right here I have as number 4. She's like, give me the dueling Jay Lenos, guys.
See, I love this. On the Stern show, everybody said, well, you and Fred would sometimes you'd be doing the same impressions at the same time. I said, the more the merrier. The more surreal it is, the better.
Oh my God,
so
they just
I
did
love it.
They just did Flock of
Ask
Jays.
not what your country can do for you. Ask what Maryland did for me. No, don't ask.
All right, all right.
I'd rather you didn't.
They just did Flock of Jays because
I gotta tell you, John, you know, I mean, like, everything good with you. You know, I'm just happy you're on the Stuttering Miller show. I mean, do you know that Barry Goldwater ran with her father? You know?
all right.
Don't
All right,
quit.
and then
don't
Jim-
quit your day job.
There you go.
Go ahead,
again.
Billy, do your J. Do your
So now John's requesting impressions from Billy West during the show.
Did you see that look of disappointment on Stephanie's face when John jumped in with that impression and cut her off? She's like, God, please stop.
She wanted the two talented guys to do the Jay impressions.
The famous impressionist. Like,
Right.
what is John doing? Could you imagine interrupting Jimi Hendrix? Before you play, let me just show you this.
yeah. So then Billy does his Jay impression, but Billy's actually a pro at this kind of thing. So he doesn't do just the cartoonish one that John and I both do when we do our Jay impressions. He's a little more subtle about it.
A guy can wake up and get a pint of Ben & Jerry's at 2 in the morning and think nothing of it with his pajamas on. And yet a woman cannot go out there, and a lot of guys never understood that. And they also never understood the fact that women's rooms should have been built twice the size of men's rooms. Do you ever see the line?
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, we go in and we whip it out. And no, that's what he used to do. We whip it out.
Yes,
and
you're more the realistic Jay. I'm more of the parody Jay.
yeah, yeah.
But he would just, sometimes he would just leave off, trail up. He'd go, so a lot of guys.
But he always has, but he always has that high, like tone, and then he goes down to the low.
Well, he would
Carlos
say,
does that.
he'd say, so I was standing there with a spatula full of shit. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a great show this evening.
Yeah, John, explain to Billy West how to do the Jay Leno impression, please. Give him some more pointers. Write some notes down for him.
And he completely missed the response, which was somebody said, oh, yeah, that's what Carlos does.
Yep.
I mean, that's this other famous impressionist version of Jay. That's not yours. You're doing an unrecognizable version of somebody else's bit.
And it'd behoove John to get out of the way. You got two guys who are voiceover actors who are both shoehorning in these impressions. I mean, not Billy so much, but that other jackass. And it's like if John's going, I do stuff too. Like, fuck, man. Why are there so many microphones on this show? There shouldn't be so many microphones.
I love this next one. Maybe it's just me, but Billy is talking about auditions, and John has a question.
Go. Close the door. And you know what? One guy looks up and he goes, do you do any other forms of weather? Yeah, oobleck. What do you want?
Billy, do you ever not get an audition? I mean, do you ever not get a gig?
All the time.
Really?
Yes,
Because you, Jim,
way.
Carlos, I mean,
Well, we all get rejected.
I mean, it's
yes.
I just
Well,
can't
I mean,
imagine.
but I'm not saying that that's a way of life with me. But the thing is you can't do everything. I mean,
I like that.
What an
Well, I'm not saying it's
asshole.
a way of life.
But I just, John going, do you ever not get an audition? Yeah, like every famous actor has not gotten a role they tried out for. Yes, of course, that happens.
To think that he has this really talented artist, this genius level guy, and these are the kind of questions he asks. It gets even worse. Check out this next question he asks him.
He doesn't even understand how show business works, though.
Not at all, or creating, or
it was
anything.
just a wake-up call from the East Coast.
Okay,
You know?
I just gonna ask you a question because I do a lot of these voiceover auditions.
You're awful curious about me.
Yeah.
Well, how much time do you spend developing a voice for an audition?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
well.
mean, does it immediately hit you
don't-
as soon as you see the script?
Well, you don't
or-
have the time that we used to have. I mean,
I really don't.
You just, and I don't know. That's what he says. He looks at me and goes, I don't know.
Yeah. If I nail it right away, I can just do it.
Right.
If I have it figured out, I'll do it. But if I don't, I'll work on it. What do you mean?
How long does it take you to learn a song, Carl? I don't know. What
Yeah,
song?
I don't know, right.
How am I? He's so far removed from whatever's happening on that side of the room. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's a good point. The other thing that I want to point out on this is John's posture. So John was brought in to work the board. He was supposed to be the board op on the show. That's the whole reason why he's there. And as we played, 3 episodes in, goes, I won't be learning how to run this board. Or I can't. One of those words he used. I think it was won't. And so eventually they have this other guy come in and just start running the board. And John feels that he is not part of the show. He has his back turned to the board op the entire episode and just pushing him out of the conversation. He has a microphone in front of him. If the guy wanted to talk, he could. And John has decided, nope, we're the talent, you're the board op. And I think this is really the psychological reason why John refused to learn the board, is because that's beneath him.
Right here, he looks like Artie dealing with John.
Right. Yes. Remember when Artie was on with Anthony? And Artie's just like, this fucking guy over here. He's just putting his back to him. This is what's happening right now to this board op. And Adam, do you know who this board op is?
I do. It's taken a while for me to figure it out, but I did. This man's name is Ryan Holiday, and he left the Stephanie Miller board op gig to become the vice president of American Apparel, and then became the leading philosopher of Stoicism, the teachings of Marcus Aurelius.
Jesus Christ.
Which is a philosophy based on doing nothing, just not responding. Assholes like John come in, they push you around, they smell bad. You don't say anything. You don't react. He is massively successful, influential, talented, and John is shoving him out of the way physically and dripping sweat on him.
This man has a huge following. He's an author. If you go to his website, it's a whole thing that he has going on. And John's so dismissive. Oh, you're just a board op.
Yep. We
don't need you around here. And this really summarized everything you need to know about why John's career ended up where it did. You know, he thinks he's better than everyone else. He thinks he's the most talented guy in the room at all times. He's trying to do impression-offs with Billy West and give him pointers. He really does suck.
Coincidentally, today, for some reason, I think because he's very aware of what we're doing over here, John started talking about the Stephanie Miller show on his show. And
John's back on the internet?
Oh, it turns out the Duke is back.
Oh, no shit. That's cool. Good for him.
He was on this morning after, he said he'd be on at noon, and then he was on like an hour and a half later. And he started listing people on the Stephanie Miller show that he worked with. And he mentioned the board operator and gave a completely different name.
Oh, so he has no idea.
He has no clue. He does now, though.
There were other people who worked the board for Stephanie Miller, and this is like the behind the paywall show. There was a morning show, so maybe it was someone different. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that, but I'm not surprised that John wouldn't know this guy next to him went on to do amazing things.
He has no idea. And it's why John is where he is. We can skip over to, I love Stephanie's segue here on number 9.
Yeah, this is great.
And he goes, you got to go down to Scarborough Fair in Revere tonight. I want you to see Aerosmith. I'm representing them, and I think you should go see them.
Okay, Aerosmith.
So I go down there with my drunken bass player and myself. I imbibed.
Well, I was just going to say, let's get to the funny part. Your father was an abusive alcoholic. He tried to kill you 15 times.
Wow.
How do you find this?
This is so great.
How do you find this? No, it's true, but I don't want to know, where is that?
You were an addict until your early 20s, and
It
then you
means
went
I
to
can't
you've
write
been
a
sober
book.
for 30 years. All right.
Is Stephanie Miller terrible at this? Is she the worst? This guy's telling this anecdote, and she's like, "Oh yeah, so anyway, your dad's an alcoholic, right? Abused you? Yeah."
What
the
clang, clang, clang.
What the fuck was that?
I feel like somebody's telling her you gotta be raunchy, and she just doesn't know what that word means, so she keeps trying this stuff that's not her.
She does want to be whatever she thinks Howard Stern is, but she has no clue.
This gets really interesting and dark in the next one, where Billy starts to explain why he's good at mimicking voices. It's amazing.
But did you do that as a kid? Did you study people and look at the way they talk? And
because I was hyper vigilant. I took beatings so much that my senses got hyper developed. Like I could tell you what kind of a night I was going to have from the key in the door.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
I could tell. Is it Dad
Yikes.
A or Dad B?
Z.
This monster that's going to come in and menace me and torture me, and so that hypervigilance, you were able to listen. You could hear the sound of the way the car closed up the street. You know, looking for clues. Are you going to hurt me, or was whatever I just heard going to come and hurt me? And so it got applied to all of those things, you know.
wow, I feel like Baba Walters. Like we're both about to cry right now because it's actually really, really poignant. I mean, it's
no,
because I know when John stays here, I feel like that old AA commercial where the wife is like,
Don't take the car, you'll kill yourself.
"Oh God, he's home.
Somehow
he's home."
somehow he manages to pull it off. I wasn't that good, you know. I mean, you look like that. Okay, booze or whatever else.
I drink light beer. It's barely alcohol.
Oh boy.
Well, you know, alcohol and alcoholism, they're related.
Really? Interesting.
Yes.
I
Your
have a high
bottle, listen,
tolerance.
boyo, your bottle is the mistress.
Right.
Get to know him now. Meet the devil.
I missed your impression of Marge Schott.
Jesus, Stephanie. Holy shit. This is getting a little too interesting as you're calling out John for his alcoholism, something you had to deal with growing up and you dealt with yourself. What about Marge? You did a funny thing with that, right? Remember she was the racist Reds owner? You want to get into that for a second?
How long do you work on your auditions?
I love that John, he goes, I'm not an alcoholic because I drink light beer. You know, that's always his first go-to. And then he goes, I have a very high tolerance. Said the guy who's not an alcoholic.
Right, yeah.
That's not helping your cause at all. No. It's the wrong thing to say if you're trying to profess that you don't drink too much.
How about the way Billy looked at you and just went like, alcohol? Like, he knew what your
Yeah.
problem was. He could tell from looking at you, and you're like, I'm hiding it well.
No one can even tell what's going on. Let's go! Why does that work?
It's the same look that Billy's giving him. It's the same look that Maron was giving him. It's just that you're not fooling anyone, buddy. I'm trying to tell you with my eyes, but you're too glossed over to even see. If you don't mind jumping to 14, John, he asks Billy to do his Jackie impression, but he has to preface it by doing a Jackie impression so bad that Billy forgets what he's even doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Billy, for the Stern fans out there, you're Jackie the Joke Man.
Okay, is there?
Yeah, there's 1 degree of stern separation.
Okay, wait.
That was Jackie?
What does the dot on the Indian girl's head mean? Coffee's ready. Yeah, you all suck. You knew it was funny. You wouldn't laugh. That's your thing.
Wow, I feel like I'm on acid right now.
Fantastic. Wow.
But that wasn't his real voice, though.
John did like a Chewbacca thing right there. Like, dear Jack, you know that. What? And Billy's like, is that my Jackie? I don't know. I don't think that's what it is.
It's like someone, you hear another song right before you're about to start one and you can't
Yeah,
remember
like,
where
fuck.
you are or what's happening.
That's the riff. What key is it in? By the way, Billy's Jackie is by far the best.
Yeah.
It really was great. All right. Do you want to play these Gilbert stories real quick?
I think it's interesting.
I do too. So, of course, as you guys know, John knows Gilbert Gottfried better than anyone. He's always got all the stories about him. And, he talks about things like how Gilbert was cheap. And when the check came, he'd have to go to the bathroom. And he wouldn't get into a cab unless he knew someone else was paying for it. All these really important Gilbert stories. Well, it turns out Billy West has a more important story about getting to know who Gilbert Gottfried actually is. Does this need a setup at all, Adam?
No, Howard has talked famously about visiting Gilbert on his deathbed, but we didn't get to hear this.
Yeah.
And then,
Wow.
of all things, he played the parrot on Aladdin.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
and he was dying of peritonitis, and he was in a hospital on the east side.
Peritonitis.
And he really, when someone's gum is like curling up and it's
Right.
lost its color, and he had that little rattle.
Ooh.
And I didn't know he was that bad, so I went with Howard and Robin. Come on, we're going to see Gilbert, So I buy an issue of Black Hair magazine. You know that magazine, Black Hair? Because I bought it for him because I thought he might want to read it. I'm nutty just like he is, but I bring it in and I see this guy half dead. And you know what the only thing on his mind was? We were trying to console him and tell him, you're going to pull through. Don't worry about it. He said, I just don't want anybody to see me like this on page 6.
Oh, God.
He was thinking about
publicity.
the gossip column.
Right.
To see the great and powerful Gilbert.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a real story. That's a real thing about Gilbert that you don't hear very often. Very
intimate.
Very meek, intimate, yet concerned. And I'm sure that John responds with, well, I don't really have a story like that with Gilbert. We weren't close like that and visit him in the hospital. or anything, right? That's probably what John's gonna say.
Oh boy.
Well, Gilbert.
No, he would come to the Tonight Show, and he would steal as much free crap as he can. Like he would go to each floor, get all the magazines, like all the candy, and dump it into his suitcase.
Wow.
I remember once I did a gig with him, and we're on the plane in first class, and we're flying to LA. And you know how they so we ordered like pancakes, and you know the little bottle of syrup. I swear to you, a little tiny bottle of
The
syrup.
little,
Yeah. Okay.
He's stuffing them his pockets with him.
So he uses half the bottle, and then the plane lands, and I look down at the chair, and there's half of the bottle with still half.
Oh wow.
Half syrup. So I look at it. I get my bag out of the thing. I look down. It's gone. I go, Gilbert, did you take that half tiny bottle of syrup? And he goes, you caught me.
Wow.
Good stuff, John.
It,
I mean, after that story with Gilbert, the fact that you just like wait till you hear this one about the half-used syrup bottle.
This is who he is. Oh, you're talking about Sam? Let me tell you the most awful about how he was an addict and how he pushed drugs on other people and couldn't control himself. Just awful, missed a gig, lied to people. Like, you're talking about Gilbert? Let me tell you the same shitty stories. It's not that they're so bad. He tells a story in the worst way. He's like, you know the punchline? The punchline's going to be this thing of syrup. You got that? Okay, now let me go back to the beginning and take you all the way back there since you know it's fucking coming.
But it's always about how he's the hero in every story.
The voice of reason there.
He's always he's always like, this person's out of control, but I have my shit together.
Yeah. Gilbert, what are you doing?
Yeah, right. Like that's always the stories that he tells. Whereas, Billy West stories is like, I bought him this ridiculous magazine. I don't know why I did. I'm an idiot. It's like,
yeah.
It's a little bit more real and something you can relate to.
I thought this would be funny. And then I showed up and he was in this different state.
Yeah. Like they didn't want to read about Black Hair magazine.
It's pretty funny.
It's kind of funny.
Who are these podcasts? WA